Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event of the evening. And now, the champion, fighting out of Los Angeles, California. This man is a movie snob with a background in fighting and a lifelong addiction to all things superhero related. Presenting the reigning, defending, undisputed host of the show, the Iron Cube.
Welcome to the show, everybody. This is episode number 90 of the Iron Cube Fights movies. This week the team reviews Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, followed by movie, television, and video game news. I'm Kier, your host. With me on the show today are my co-hosts Emerson.
Hey.
And Everett.
Hey, what's going on?
I'm going to explain our rating system. On this show, we award what we've watched with a rating of win, draw, or loss. A win is a title that we would highly recommend, while a draw is a title we didn't love but recognize others may appreciate. A loss means we do not recommend the title. If you have not seen the review of the week and would like to avoid spoilers, check the show notes for the timestamp so you can still hear our news sections. Alright, so this week we are reviewing Scott Pilgrim. A bass guitarist for a garage rock band, Scott Pilgrim, played by Michael Cera, has never had trouble getting a girlfriend. Usually the problem is getting rid of them. But when Ramona Flowers, played by Mary Elizabeth Winstead, skates into his heart, he finds she has the most troublesome baggage of all, an army of ex-boyfriends who will stop at nothing to eliminate him from her list of suitors. So, Everett, what's your review for Scott Pilgrim?
I give it a win. I've always been a fan of the graphic novel series that this was based on, and when I saw the movie, I saw it in theaters when it came out. I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed it the second time watch through. It has like a bubbly awkwardness that I just absolutely love. Not to mention, like, the visual effects are very unique, and they work very well. I think the whole cast had great chemistry, and there were a lot of moments where I was like, really found myself laughing, or I really was invested. So, yeah, I give it a win. I love this movie.
No, this was directed by Edgar Wright. Is that correct?
I think so. Was it? Yeah.
It was?
Yeah, it was.
And he also did Ant-Man, right?
Did he? I don't know. Let me check. Yeah, he did Ant-Man. And Baby Driver.
Okay. Yeah, there's a lot of MCU people in this. Or not even MCU.
I was going to say,
like
there's a
Marvel
lot
people.
of famous people.
Yeah. I mean, this movie, what year was it made?
This movie came out in
2010.
2010. Yeah, 2010.
So, yeah, a lot of these people are, like, big famous people. And some were already kind of famous, like Chris Evans.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Emerson, what's your review?
So I give it a draw. I had never seen this before. I knew nothing about it. I really enjoyed the first half, but as it went on, some of like the jokiness and the hokiness and the video game analogy started to just kind of grate on me. And like at the end of the movie, I was just like, okay, are we gonna get to the point where it's finished now? I feel like for me personally, it overstayed its welcome, but I absolutely loved the first half. And the second half wasn't bad. I found myself kind of just waiting for it to end and being like, okay, let's get to the point, please. So that's why I have to give it a draw. But, it was not a bad movie.
Okay, I'm going to give it a win, but I was definitely on the bubble of giving it a draw. The thing is, I really enjoy the visuals, and I enjoy the concept, but I think the execution falls apart. There's something that's missing from this movie. And I've been trying to think about what is it missing specifically, because I'm not really sure. Like, the visuals are great. The fighting choreography is actually pretty good. It's doing like martial arts and stuff, but it looks like the actors doing it. I don't know how much of it was them, but it looks like it's them. I just don't believe they're like that flexible and kicking that high. But it all looks good, and it has a good rhythm to it. The fights look like kind of like those old style kung fu movies. Like,
yeah.
Clearly a lot of care has been put into that aspect of it. And as I'm sitting there watching it, I also kind of felt like you, Emerson, where I was like, okay, it's doing what it's accomplishing what it wanted to do, which is to be like a quirky, off the wall visually entertaining, like just
Story,
popcorn movie.
adventure.
Yeah, it's meant to be fun. You're not supposed to take it super seriously. Like, why can the characters suddenly do kung fu when they seem to be morons otherwise? Like, I mean, that's all. Like, you get it. It's like, because yeah, it's a stupid movie. Like, we get it. At the same time, though, I think it's the characters that fall apart. So we'll just go into spoilers now, but I think like Scott is the main reason the movie doesn't work that well, because I don't
Yeah.
relate to him at all.
No, he's like, I was like, is he high functioning autistic? Well, and that sounds like it would be like an insult, but you understand what I'm saying. He very much acts like that.
I think it's supposed to be like quirky awkwardness though, but it definitely comes off as that.
Yeah, I was just like, okay, and then like,
But in an unlikable way most of the
yeah,
time.
yeah, and like I guess that's what they were going for. So I guess I can't really fault them for that. But one issue I have with these type of movies, these crazy off the walls, anything can happen movie, is that when something happened that's like strange or I don't really like, it's difficult for me to tell if it's something that like they intended or not. So like as like the movie goes on, I felt like, okay, it's getting boring. I don't think they intended that, but who knows? But before I start nitpicking really deeply, there were a lot of things that I enjoyed a lot in this movie. Like, I really thought Chris Evans' character was really funny. I liked him a lot, and that whole sequence fighting the stunt doubles and his
Yeah, that
like
was cool.
his horrible action one-liners. I also really liked the vegan with psychic powers because that reminded me a lot of Everett.
Do you know who that was?
Like,
Yeah, do you know who that was?
no, I don't.
That's Brandon Routh. He played Superman in Superman Returns.
Oh, I thought he looked familiar.
He was also in The Flash as
He's the Atom.
Captain, not Captain Atom. Was it Captain Atom?
He's the Atom.
Yeah, he plays Palmer. Yeah.
But yeah, the vegan reminded me a lot of you, Everett, because I remember you like talking about how like you gained psychic powers from veganism. No, I'm just kidding. But I mean, I liked that. I thought that was funny. Brie Larson. I liked her character. I'm going to be completely honest. She was one of the more likable and memorable characters for me.
Well, I thought she was in this movie a lot more.
I thought she would be as well because, but was she as famous at this time?
No,
I'm not
this is
gonna
like
lie.
her first thing.
I
Then
did
I
not
guess
know
that
that
makes
was
sense.
Brie Larson first time I watched this.
The first time, yeah,
I think she
because
may
she
have
was a
gained
nobody.
some weight since then.
Whoa, what the
I'm
fuck?
just saying, her
Whoa,
cheeks.
whoa.
Okay, listen to me.
Listen, you perverted fuck. How dare you?
Listen to me. Her cheeks are bigger in the Captain Marvel trailer.
Yeah, is that what you're into?
Here. Am I wrong, Kia? Am I wrong?
Are you suggesting that she somehow grew into like a full grown woman in the 10 years
How
or the 9
old
years?
was she at this?
I'm gonna say she was like maybe early 20s, but she looked younger.
I mean, no, I'm just saying, like, she looked different. Is all I'm trying to get across. Like, attack me for the weight gain comment if you want, but
No,
you're the
she
one screaming about
she was
hiccup
younger.
me too.
She was younger, but the other thing was she's also like a singer. I think she was primarily a singer, and that's one of the reasons she was cast in this because she sang
Did she
that
do
song.
like the actual vocals?
Yeah, that was
that was
it's
pretty
a
good.
song I own, and actually a lot of weird things about this movie, like the actual version of that song is longer and actually like really good. The Black
Isn't it by
Sheep song.
Metric?
I think it's a cover. Yeah, she does a cover. But so if you buy that song on iTunes, I like it. I think it's a good song.
Yeah, I was gonna say that seemed like a good song just from the movie.
But it
I
didn't
was-
seem like. I thought it was longer in the movie. It seemed like they only played a part of it.
Had you seen this before?
Yeah, I saw it in theaters
Oh, okay. Wow. So I was the odd man out here.
many years ago. But I don't remember it being so short, and I don't remember her just coming and going. I thought she was in the movie a lot.
Yeah,
She
she was
was
just
like-
kind of a throwaway
She was
character.
just one thing, yeah. I thought that was kind of weird. I thought she was. I mean, that's one of the reasons I
She
picked this
seemed
movie.
in the movie, like in the lore of the movie, she's supposed to be a big character.
Yeah.
Because of her relationship with Scott, obviously. And so when she appeared, I thought she was going to be there for a long time.
Yeah,
But
and she's
after
interesting. She has like a lot
Yeah.
of status.
Yeah,
I feel like
that's-
it works for what the movie was going
Oh,
for.
no,
though.
I
Like,
mean, I
she
understand
didn't
that
overstay her welcome.
I
Well, no
agree
one
that
did.
it works, but I would have liked to see more of her. And also, as I said before, she was one of the most interesting characters for me in the movie. I liked her the most. Like Gideon, I didn't care about him, and I
He
feel
just
like he
came at
was
the end,
somewhat
right?
anticlimactic. Yeah, he like appeared during this. Well, they'd been mentioning him all movie,
Yeah.
and then he appeared during the battle with the Asian twins.
Yeah.
Like that's when you first see him. But like I don't know.
I like that
kinda,
one. I like the Asian twin one just because it didn't last very long.
Yeah. Well, it started, you can tell that they realized it was starting to get old. If each of these fights was like long and
Yeah.
it was becoming less interesting. Like the first one's funny, then, they do the second one okay, then the third one it's like, okay, we need to find a way to speed it up.
Yeah, and there were some like mini fights, like unofficial fights too.
Yeah, like the first encounter with the lesbian.
Yeah.
I thought that was a funny fight sequence.
I felt like they went out of their way to like make it interesting. So like the first fight is just a straight up fight with Patel, and then you
Well,
have the
he
Chris Evans guy.
uses magic.
Yeah, but it's like a fist fight, and then the second one is Chris Evans guy where he kind of like is tricked into destroying himself. Who's the third one? Is that the lesbian? No,
Well,
I
they
think
number
the
have,
three
lesbian
this
was the
fake
fourth
fight.
one.
is the vegan one, which is like that was funny. And then the fourth one is
I think the fourth one is the lesbian.
the lesbian, and then
Fifth
then
and
it's the
sixth were
Asian twins.
Yeah, the Asians.
Yeah.
Now he fought Jason Schwartzman. He fought him like 5 times. I felt like.
I think he fought him twice, but he died the first time.
Yeah, but like it was it felt long. I was
Yeah.
like, can we move through this? And then like after he beat him, he like got back up and like stared him down and like that's part of why I think I started to want the movie to end because I wanted to see the resolution if there was gonna be one. Because as I'm watching this, I'm like, so maybe he'll break up with her, or she'll break up with him again, or like I was trying to figure out what was gonna happen with Ramona at the end. And I don't know.
See,
he
I didn't
goes
even
with her.
care.
Yeah, I didn't care, but like I wanted it to be interesting, and then it wasn't.
Here's
he
the
just
thing.
like goes with her.
I didn't think
An
Ramona was
Asian
very good
ninja
either.
Girlfriend. Yeah, she was okay. She wasn't bad, but she wasn't anything to call home about.
Like she was kind of like aloof and just really weirdly quiet most of the time, and
Yeah.
I guess she was trying to be mysterious. But I was like, why does he like her? Because she has like cool hair.
And she was like kind of a bitch.
Yeah.
The Asian girl, Knives, she was funny.
That
I
well,
liked
Yeah.
her.
that's what I was
I
gonna
liked her
say.
as well.
When I said no one overstayed their welcome, actually she kind of did.
Well, when
Really?
she becomes a ninja, I guess. But,
Between
like,
Ramona and Brie Larson's character, I didn't need a third girl involved.
I mean, I thought it was funny when she like dyed her hair to like match Ramona, and then Ramona like sees her in the bathroom and is like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah.
She had
I
a
thought that-
backpack on.
That was funny. And then there was someone who else was pretty funny.
But then they brought her back to be like she had her own arc, and
Dude, she became a member of the Hand.
His gay roommate was really funny. I liked him.
Oh yeah,
Macaulay
the
Culkin's brother.
the gay,
Yeah.
the gay roommate was super funny. I especially
Do you guys
liked,
even know who Macaulay Culkin is?
Of course,
yeah, of course. Home Alone.
Okay.
Come on, Kia.
Yeah, I don't
But one of the funniest things for me was when his Scott's sister, I'm blanking on the actress's name, Anna.
Yeah, the one they all
Anna-
want to play.
Anna Kendrick?
Plays Squirrel Girl. Yeah.
Yeah, Anna Kendrick. When she brings her boyfriend and Scott's roommate is like
Yeah.
looking at him, that's really funny.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I like that too. Did that joke pay off? I don't remember.
They ended up sleeping together.
Oh yeah, right.
And
yeah.
then Anna Kendrick's character's
Not
like,
again.
Not again! Like, you said you wouldn't do this anymore.
The film was funny. I remember being in the theater watching it and going, this is cool, but I'm lost in what it all means because
Yeah,
I'm not connected to any of it.
Well, you know how they're an indie band? Like,
Yeah.
it's kind of an indie movie, really. Like, it has mainstream appeal.
It is. It's actually a flop, and Edgar Wright said that that's the movie most people come up to him and say is his favorite film or their favorite film of his. Now, but at the time it was considered kind of a flop.
Yeah, and it's got like a cult following since then. I think.
Yeah, it's definitely bulked up, especially
Yeah,
since it's been on Netflix.
Wow, that is a real big flop. It had like an 85 to 90 million dollar budget, and it got 47 million at the box office.
Jesus.
Yeah.
You know,
But
it's
that
interesting.
movie kind of put him on the map, I think.
But
Yeah.
Michael Cera, just as an actor, right? So I don't think I can watch much with him, to be completely honest. Like,
He's good in Arrested Development.
no, I know, but like, does he
And
play the
Juno?
same type of character?
Yeah, he's good in Juno.
Sort of. He does that like younger guy awkwardness. Here he's a lot. I think he has a lot to work with here, and maybe what's that zombie movie where he plays himself?
Zombieland? No, wait,
No,
that's not it.
It's like the end of the world. It has like James Franco. And,
Oh, This Is the End.
yeah, like he plays himself. Those are the two roles where he's like not been the just like shy nerdy guy. And like this one, he kind of is, but he also gets to like fight.
What was the
has some
movie where he
agency.
played Tobey Maguire at the poker game?
Yeah, that's a good one too. Molly's Game.
Molly's Game. That's what
He does some good acting there too. And he's not bad in that at all. He doesn't seem very Michael Cera-ish at all.
Well, that's good, because, like, I don't know. I just feel like, for some reason, I was under the impression that this is, like, a character type that he plays a lot, and I was like, I don't really want to see that very much.
Well,
He
it was
definitely
at the
gets
time.
typecasts a lot.
I mean, his character is almost the exact same in Juno.
Almost makes you wonder if he dated Juno before, and this is just a continuation.
Don't they have a kid in Juno?
Dun, dun. Yeah, I know, but he has nothing to do with that, right?
What was I going to say? I also thought at some point maybe they were going to do, like, the same thing for Ramona. Like, she was going to have to fight his exes.
Didn't
Which,
she?
like, they... Well, no, she only fought Knives, like, briefly. And
oh
then,
yeah,
like,
I
when
thought she was gonna fight Brie Larson.
when he resets time, yeah, I thought she was gonna fight Brie Larson. I thought she was gonna fight Knives. I thought she was gonna fight the redheaded drummer. Like,
I guess it would have made a little more sense to have. Wait, what was the main guy's name?
Scott Pilgrim?
No, the bad guy.
Gideon Graves?
Gideon. Yeah, it would have made more sense for Gideon and Brie Larson's character to. What was her name even? I can't remember.
Envy.
Envy.
Envy
It would have made
Adams.
sense for them to be together, and it would have been like a team up fight.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
that would have been cool.
I don't know. And then like also I wasn't a big fan of like Gideon's like mind controlling Ramona. At first I was interested because I was like, oh, Ramona like just actually likes this guy. Like, what's Scott gonna do now? But then it was like, nah, it's just mind control.
Yeah, no, it definitely gets weird and falls apart, and there's too many people in it. Did you
Yeah,
guys see Thomas Jane?
No?
He's one of the vegan cops,
Oh yes, yes.
Oh, yeah.
I thought that was funny.
and the other
I
guy
don't-
is like he's kind of a famous character actor now.
Vegan diet, no vegan powers.
But
That's what I was gonna say. A lot of these minor characters are pretty famous.
Yeah,
You know who I hated though? I hated Aubrey Plaza's character in this movie.
yeah, and didn't she like stop showing up in it after a
At,
little
like,
while?
At some point.
After the envy scenes, she stopped showing up.
Like she keeps showing up for no reason, and then she stops showing up for no reason.
And her character's like weird.
Well,
Like,
that's
I-
her.
She like
That's
she
like
like
her.
worked everywhere.
A lot of it's interesting because yeah, a lot of these characters are like they're known for like their shtick in this movie, for whatever that was. Like she did the same exact thing in Parks and Rec, basically. Brie Larson is strangely enough the only one who's like did other stuff that was like completely out of the realm. Brandon Routh was funny. Chris Evans was like he was already famous for Fantastic Four, so
Well, it was interesting because when I saw the trailer for his like in-universe movie, I was like, "Oh, hey, it's Chris Evans. That's a cool cameo." Because I had no idea, and then, you know, I was able to pick up on, oh, he's gonna be one of her exes when they started going more into him. But it was interesting seeing him so far removed because, you know, I'm trying to think of the other movies he's done stuff, but stuff that I've seen him in aside from Captain America, where I saw Snowpiercer. This, and there's a movie where he plays a serial killer alongside General Zod.
Oh really?
Yeah, I'm looking at
Yeah,
his
he plays a
that?
serial. I need to find the name. I watched it and really. Oh, the Iceman, General Zod.
His name's
he
Michael
plays-
Shannon.
Yeah, I know that.
It's
I
on
don't know why I
Netflix,
keep. Yeah,
right?
the Iceman. No, it got removed. It's like gone from everywhere.
Oh damn it!
But it's
That was on
really
my
good.
list.
Michael Shannon is a hitman, and Chris Evans is a serial killer with like an ice cream truck. and they end up working together to like achieve their nefarious goals.
I didn't know
very
Chris
good.
Evans was in that.
Yeah, he doesn't look like him. That's why he's got like really long hair and like white man dreads, glasses. He's
I could
he's
check
good
that
in it
out.
though.
Too bad
His,
it's
his
missing,
Wikipedia page is
Let me see
full
where
of
it went.
spoilers.
His Wikipedia page?
Yeah, because I'm looking at his cast listings, and like anything before 2010 and all these things he's been in, and there's this like stuff that he's like currently in that spoils a lot of stuff.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Whatever. Oh, he was in TMNT. I didn't know that. He
What?
played Casey Jones.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
Yeah, like remember the animated movie, like the first, not the
Okay,
first
so
one.
according to the app just now, you can rent it on Amazon or stream it on Vudu.
The
whatever that
Iceman.
is. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I watched it. I'm so glad I did when it was on Netflix because it was phenomenal.
Yeah, that was on my list. I might go back and look at that. Yeah. So overall, this film, like, the character was not there on the page, like the script. You know, I don't even know what Scott Pilgrim was doing. Like, did he love Ramona? It took him forever to say it, and even when he said it, he said, "I'm in lesbians," and it's like, so do you love her? I don't understand what that means. And even she's like,
I'm in lesbians.
oh, okay. Like, I don't know what any of that means. And I like the concept of having to fight your girlfriend's ex-boyfriends. Like, I like that idea. I think a lot of people could relate to, like, that sort of animosity.
Mm-hmm.
And especially if it's, like, to prove your love or whatever. Like, it's a simple concept. And I think a lot of people would get behind it. But the fact that it has the video game stuff, I'm not saying it's better. It almost has to be, because then it's just, like, normal violence, which is kind of weird.
Yeah, and it would be like upsetting almost.
So I like the stylization of it. I almost feel like this would be better if it was just like a normal guy living a normal life with a normal girlfriend, and he had and he had to deal with all her boyfriends, and or ex-girlfriend, whatever, and like these fights were like his fantasy.
Right. I was wondering that the whole time. Like, he's like thinking about this in his mind,
Yeah.
but it's not really happening. I think that would have been a more interesting and more effective way to tell the story.
And then at the end, he has to deal with it like some real way, not through fighting. Like that.
Yeah.
That's the end. But we could have some fun watching him do like weird shit, like in different planets and like different environments, and he'll just fight like.
Yeah, and you could intercut it with like whatever's actually going on. Like maybe like one of them is like coming over for dinner and he's just uncomfortable with it, doesn't like it.
Yeah.
And, like,
I think that's how I would have written it if it were me. But
yeah, I concur.
all right. Anything else on this one?
Not really.
No.
Any other cameos that we may have missed? I don't know who that redheaded chick is, but she looks familiar.
She looks like the Fifth Element.
Yeah. I guess you're kind of right about that.
Just saying.
Yeah, I can't think of anything else. All right, fight of the week.
All right, so I mean, you're fighting Scott Pilgrim, Kia. You're one of Ramona's exes in this scenario.
Okay, I thought this might be.
Yeah, I mean this. Wait,
which
I
ex
felt like
is he?
This was pretty straightforward. He's
I'm
his own
me.
ex. Yeah, he's Kia, and so you're gonna have to beat Scott Pilgrim somehow. I mean, the movie kind of sets this one up perfectly. So I was like, okay.
Well, I was thinking actually, because I thought about this. It would be funnier if, like, because since they're like 22 or whatever, and I'm not that much older, but if like Ramona's like, yeah, my ex is a teacher, and that sort of paints like a certain picture in your head of like a teacher guy, right?
Yeah.
And then he like goes to challenge the teacher, and it's
And
like,
it's you.
I'm a wrestling coach. And like he didn't know, like that could be a joke. Like no one told him that I
Kind of
was
like
the
in American Animals, the librarian.
Yeah, and like yeah, that was a good one. That was our best fight of the week probably. But like I would over stylize it. So like when he thinks I'm a teacher, like we fight in the classroom, but then when we start fighting, instead of like doing karate and stuff, I'm literally like ragdolling him, and he's like, where did this guy learn this? And it's like, oh, and then he sees like a picture of me with like a team picture. He's like, he's a wrestling coach. I think that would be fun. And then the question is not how would I fight him, because I would lose according to the story. So the question is more like, how would he beat me? And because everyone has like their weakness. Like Chris Evans had had his ego, his hubris,
and the lesbian had
like her
something.
orgasm thing,
Yeah.
and the vegan thing. And what were the Asians' weakness? They had like that weird monster.
No, he just beat him. Like, he overpowered him.
And he also overpowered Patel. I don't know. Like, I think that's maybe one thing that was missing is you don't really learn much of the ex-boyfriends. Mm-hmm. And so like almost like if you were gonna beat me, I think you'd have to know like my personality somehow, something I like, something I dislike. Like to use like Ramona could be telling Scott, like that's one thing, like we never I don't care about any of the ex-boyfriends aside from just the stereotype of whatever like they are on the surface. And so like if she could tell him like he's afraid of cats or some shit like that, that would help him in the fight.
Scott Pilgrim morphs into a giant bird.
That kind of makes you wonder though, like remember how all the exes kind of had like a little bit of a backstory where she told them like, oh yeah, I dated him for a week and then I dumped him, and like that kind of stuff. Like what would Kia's like one sentence backstory be?
Well, she seemed to like what was it? She's like, he was the only non-white guy, so I dated him.
Yeah,
that was her.
Well, so whatever defeats me or the ex-boyfriends should also be related as to why it didn't work out with Ramona. Mm-hmm. But that would also require like more thought in the writing. And I don't know. Like I don't know if that would be a better movie if you actually like made it real like that. Yeah. I think for a lot of people, like you love this movie, like I think for a lot of people it's just like, ooh, like bright colors, big noises, punching, cool video game references, and it's like zip zappy all over the place. And like I get it, if that's the movie you're trying to make, then you did it. But I think ultimately like the characters on the page like hold this movie back, because Scott and Ramona alone are like unlikable, if you ask me.
No, I agree with
and
that.
Knives was annoying.
They were going for that though, to be completely honest.
Yeah, Knives was annoying, I thought. I think the movie thought she was better than she was.
I thought she was funny when she was just like kind of crazy before she became the ninja.
I thought that her whole thing was like, he's so desperate he'll go for any girl, but then he meets Ramona and it's like, okay, this is the girl. Like I thought that's what they were trying to say. So I expected Knives to go away, but she kept coming back. I'm like,
it was kind of weird though, like, 'cause wasn't she 17 and he was like in his 20s?
Yeah, and then she was like in the final battle. I was like, why are you still here?
Yeah.
Like I wish Scott would have said that to her. Like, why are you still here? Didn't we break up?
I mean, you guys do have a point, like about what you're saying. Like, what I was gonna say, you guys have a point on what you guys were saying, and that's probably the cutback on turning like a graphic novel into a movie like this. Because on the page, it's like it's pretty much it's pretty much the same thing, but it works on the page because it's like a different universe. It's like you can get away with that kind of stuff, but when you translate it to the screen, it kind of looks a little awkward. And I kind of see what you're saying.
Yeah.
I think one of the weaknesses of Knives too is they tried to like make the fact that he was like dating her and dating Ramona for a brief time like a big thing, but I didn't care, and like it didn't seem like that big of a revelation. Like when they learn, I don't know if everyone was supposed to be like, oh shit, they're about to find. I thought like it seemed pretty fucking obvious when Knives jumps up and kisses Scott at the beginning of the movie. Like, I don't know. They tried to turn that into a major plot point, like them finding out that he was dating both of them, and then it doesn't matter.
I was okay with that because it was for Ramona. Like from Ramona's perspective, that was like, wait, what the hell's going on?
There was one funny line that he did with her.
I may have had a similar experience myself, but.
When he's trying to break up with her and she's like, I want you to come meet my parents, and he's like, are you even allowed to date outside your race? That made me giggle.
There's a lot of funny like one-liners here, and not too many that fall flat. But again, like I would sacrifice some of that for just some character development. All right,
Yeah.
we good on this one?
Yeah.
I think we are.
All right, 30 minutes in. So I didn't put anything from the roundup because it's only been a few days. How about you guys?
Oh, I have some information for you.
Okay.
Yeah, I
So-
got stuff I watched too.
The first
shit.
thing, well, actually, this falls under TV news and video game news are my two things. So, Everett, if you have some movies,
Okay.
you go first.
Okay, we're in the
Well,
roundup
no,
section. So, anyone watch anything?
yeah.
Everett?
I didn't watch any movies. I watched the entire season of One Punch Man on Hulu. I watched the dub though, which was supremely different from watching the normal version. Because I
I could
remember
definitely
Emerson.
watch the dub though. Like I'll never watch the subtitled version.
I
Yeah.
only watched the subtitle version.
Well, though that's kind of weird because Emerson showed me the sub version, and it was really good. But then when you watch the dub version after you've seen it, it's really funny and weird at the same time. Like it feels like a completely different show.
Okay, so
I'll
you
check
watched
it
One
out.
Punch Man.
I'm
Yeah.
interested.
Where did you
I-
watch the dub version?
I watched it on Hulu.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I watched that.
I have that. Okay. Anything else?
For
Next
me,
week, my
no.
university is showing Free Solo, so I'm gonna go see that.
What is that?
It's a documentary about the guy who climbed Yosemite's, it's one of the famous like peaks in Yosemite, alone with no like free hand. There were no ropes, no mounts, nothing. And it's like talks about how he trains to do it. Like he like figures out how to tackle the mountain and like trains and then he does it.
Interesting.
And it's like crazy apparently because it's this sheer cliff and he has nothing. If he falls, he dies. Like if he lets go, he's dead.
Interesting. Speaking of crazy, anyone see that Michael Jackson documentary everyone's been talking about?
I've heard
No.
about it. Isn't it like ridiculously long and like something's weird about it?
I haven't heard, but it's just like it's people coming forth again and saying, yeah, he molested people, and
Yeah, well,
I don't
R.
know.
Kelly's got an interview where he stands up screaming, "I didn't do anything wrong."
Yeah, you can't put me in double jeopardy. Or...
Yeah, he's double jumping.
I mean, he's right about that. Like the law says you can't, yet somehow the like public opinion is able to like retry him. Either way, I mean, I don't like to get too caught up in that stuff. All right, no new trailers that I am aware of, right?
Not the. Oh wait,
The Game of
new
Thrones trailer
Shazam
officially dropped.
New Shazam trailer.
Did it drop?
Yes, it did. There was a Game of Thrones trailer. I saw it.
No. Oh yeah, fuck, I saw that too. Yeah, what do you guys think about Game of Thrones? The Game of Thrones trailer.
I think it's gonna be good.
have
It's only got,
not
like, 7
ever watched
episodes.
Game of Thrones ever. I know something about the mythos. It looks like a pretty good trailer.
I thought the trailer was just like it told me nothing, which I was okay with, and I also didn't care about anything they showed, because they weren't showing much. Ultimately, I just wanted to know like what date it was coming out, and like yeah.
Well, I'm wondering
Isn't
what they're
the
gonna do with
Scene
it.
at the end with the horse. That's the White Walkers, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So isn't that like a big thing because they've never had a battle with them before?
they've
or
had
something?
one.
Yeah.
Really?
I mean, if you want
Did
spoilers,
they win?
No.
You should watch it.
I know. It's just there's so many episodes, and I don't like have. the
There's
time
not that
right now.
many.
How
Not
many
compared to
episodes
like
per
other
season?
shows.
There's like 10 per season, and there's like 7 in the 7th season.
And how long are they? Like an hour each?
They're like
an
an
hour.
hour to hour and a
Yeah.
half long.
It's not horrible.
No, I'm
it's-
gonna start rewatching. I wanted to do one season a week, leading up to it, but we're just not gonna have time.
Yeah. I mean, I'll guess I might as well. I just have so much on my list too, because like
Well, it's
I don't know.
interesting what they're doing with this new season. That they all basically said they're sacrificing episode count for length. So the episodes are going to be a lot longer, but there's much less of them.
I'm totally okay with that.
this is the last season, right?
Yeah.
It's the last season, yeah.
And they've way passed the books at this point. So
Oh yeah,
they're doing
they've
their own
passed the
thing.
books.
Huh. That's a good thing. Have you guys read any of the?
I've read Fire and Ice.
Not really.
I've heard they're great for lore, but like at a writing level, they're horrible. I've heard.
Well,
that,
there's
like,
a lot of
the
differences from the
sentence-
show.
Everybody
Like-
says that about every popular thing. Ultimately, what I dictate to be like good or bad is when you get a lot of descriptive language, which I just don't like as much because I feel like it fills up the book too much. Like sometimes people get like way too into that. Like Cormac McCarthy is one of those writers who will like write about the color of the leaves and shit like that. And I don't know. I'm like this makes it hard to read.
Yeah.
And he's one of those. Like he definitely does some stuff
That's-
really well.
Well, but I've heard he
he's
also
got a
is like
lot.
his structure is like very much like the person went to the place to do the thing. The place was this thing at this time. Like
Yeah, but
it's
you
like,
think about the story, like the weight of the story that he's carrying.
no,
I
no, no.
get it.
That's like yeah. I don't know. Because like I read the Lord of the Rings, right? I liked that, and like that has like a pretty big weight of the story. So but I haven't read the books, to be fair.
Of Lord of the Rings.
No, of George.
Oh yeah,
A Song of Ice
I've
and Fire.
listened to some of it, and I didn't find it to be terrible. I just thought it's like very wordy, and like I think he's one of those writers who, like some writers plan everything before they write it, and others like plan it as they go. And he's one who plans it as he goes, and that's why it takes so long to like finish a book, because he has to go back and edit it and change things, and especially now since he has so many characters, he hires people to like check it.
So like if he forgets about someone or brings someone back to life,
Or like
Well, I mean-
what color hair they had, stuff like that. He has
that
to
must
remember
be
all that.
crazy juggling all that.
Well, so people help him, like they fact check him basically. So like, I don't know. At this point, you're in it for the spectacle, like to see how it ends. I haven't got into the books. I don't like that fantasy stuff too much. I only got into the show after
You
the
don't
second
like elves
season.
dancing in the forest.
No, and as I said before, I think I've said it on the podcast, but the first season of Game of Thrones is really good because it's really political. The second season is when it starts to expand into like the fantasy stuff, and it lost me the first time I watched it until Jade, who had read the books, watched it with me, like after we started dating or whatever, and she had to like explain it to me, even though she was very annoyed to have to explain it to me. And like once I got over the hump of like the first half of the second season, the second half is good again. I believe that's like one of the biggest like twist endings in that season. And then after that, like you get the Viper versus the Mountain, the battle with the White Walkers, Jon Snow, and all that.
Yeah, like the Battle of the Bastards, that stuff.
Yeah, it really like after, I would say that the first half of season 2, it really just like starts going, and yeah, and once you get what's his name, Ramsay
Ramsay
Bolton.
Snow.
Yeah, Ramsay Snow. Yeah, it's good. It's good.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna start watching it again, but not officially for the podcast. So tell me about the Shazam trailer, because I heard that it was coming out. I saw that it came out, and I completely forgot about
Okay,
it, and I didn't
so
see anything about it.
it's
I
got
didn't
a
really
lot
like it,
of-
to be honest.
It's got a lot of new footage of Shazam using his powers. You get to see his like some interesting shot of his transformation. He jumps off a building, yells Shazam.
That was in the first trailer, I think.
I think this is a new one then.
No, it is a new one.
No. I mean a new jumping off the building, yelling
Oh,
Shazam.
okay.
Like, you see him fly, like testing out his powers a lot more. He seems very Superman-esque, which I know his character is, but like, you see him fighting the villain, like actually fighting. And like Everett said,
It's very
it's
Man of
okay.
Steel-esque, right?
It's okay, but there's something about it that's just like I don't care. It's just kind of boring and safe, and like I've seen this before.
Well, it's based on the New 52 version, which I really did like,
Okay, but
but mainly because of Billy, not because of
but-
Shazam.
Yeah,
I'm just
Emerson,
saying
you
the
made you made a good point the other day when we talked about this.
No, we've
where-
seen this shot of him jumping off the building.
Oh,
Yeah, Emerson, you had a good point when we talked about this, where I'm really more invested in the Shazam kids than I am with Shazam.
oh,
Like,
not the Shazam
group-
kids.
yeah.
It's the
Oh, I
kid.
did
Yeah.
watch this. I watched this. I completely forgot.
Okay, it's the kid. I like the actor who plays Billy Batson. He seems likable. He seems like funny. I almost want to see like.
I want to
him
see more
doing
of him.
stuff.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
less Zachary Levy.
Yeah, but the problem is this trailer goes heavy on the Zachary Levy, and like when Zachary Levy like makes jokes or does something, I just kind of cringe because I'm like, this isn't like funny. It's like it's not horrible, but I'm not like, oh my
We're gonna
god, that
see.
was so funny.
Yeah.
It's more just like, okay, it's an old man trying to pretend like he's a kid, but
And I mean,
whatever.
like, I think I said this a long time ago when we were talking about Shazam, when like the trailers were first dropping, but we were talking about how it's probably going to fall victim to the same thing that Man of Steel did, where it's just going to be two equally powered villains smashing into buildings at the very end. And you can kind of see it in this trailer, and that really annoys me. It's a little more jokey, which in my opinion makes it worse.
The action's gonna be a letdown, I think. But the it looks like the best part of the movie will be the training montage, the experimentation of his powers.
Yeah.
That looks
And
like it'll be the best
I don't
part.
think the villain looks very interesting.
No, too bad. He could have been Sinestro. Instead, he's Dr. Savannah.
Yeah.
I mean,
don't
the
even
ending
know
is
who
funny
he
where he tries to leap the building.
Yeah, and he hits it. I mean, yeah, but like, I don't know. The trailer didn't do it for me as a whole. I mean, you said you watched it and forgot about it, so clearly you didn't get like memorable.
No, it wasn't that good.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's actually quite a bit of news.
All right.
Not anything interesting though. so here's
That's
a
good
weird
sign.
one. Idris Elba is in talks to replace Will Smith as Deadshot in Suicide
I
Squad.
heard about this.
But there was also
Really?
someone else, right? Didn't they also report someone else?
I didn't hear about it. I heard about Idris Elba. Dude,
I don't know.
He has done an about face. I want to do more serious things. I don't want to be a superhero. I'm going to jump into Fast and Furious. I'm going to jump
Yeah.
into Suicide Squad 2. Like,
Do you think
God,
it's
he looks
because-
awful in Hobbs and Shaw. He looks
honestly,
awful.
Do you think it's because he's black?
Yeah. And he's a good actor.
I mean,
No, but because like he's like I want to do more stuff. Okay, because he was playing Nelson Mandela. Well, guess what? How many Nelson Mandela movies are being made for you to star in? Aside from that, what other like scholarly roles are you? You're not going to play Shakespeare. He was white. So like, what else are you going to do?
That doesn't make sense, though. If he's in talks to play Deadshot, wasn't he the one complaining that Thor the Dark World, like, almost ruined his career?
No, he didn't say it ruined his career. He just said he's like he wants to do more. He was filming that Mandela movie he did at the same time, and he's like, on one moment I'm like being Mandela and like everything that he did that was so important. On the other hand, I'm flying in front of a green screen in like fake armor, and he's like, I'd rather be doing the Mandela stuff. And I was like, okay, but career wise, and like it's funny to laugh at him because he's like going to be Deadshot now or whatever, but at the same time, do you think his career, as good as he is, do you think it's stalled a bit? Because he had Luther, he had The Wire, and he had The Office.
Yeah, I
And
hated him in The Office.
And he
Like
had
a good hate.
Yeah, and then he had the like Mandela stuff, and it seemed like he was doing.
for a little while, there was speculation that he was going to be a James Bond.
Yeah,
Which I
Yeah,
think
he would have been a
could done.
great James Bond.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think he would have been really good for it.
And I mean, we don't know who the next James Bond is, but so it seems like he really doesn't have much else of a choice other than like play black characters, which Deadshot isn't even one, but Will Smith made him one. So like that's the only reason they would even do Idris Elba is because Will Smith did it.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I think he's too good for Deadshot. I'm going to be completely honest.
Yeah.
He's
I
too
think-
good for the Fast and Furious thing, but like apparently that's what's being offered to him, is what I'm saying. Now I don't know if it's because he's black, but I feel like what they say in Hollywood is true. Where it's like if you're a woman over the age of like 35, what role are you gonna play aside from like a superhero's mom? If you're he's like a 45-year-old black man and Heimdall is gone, what else are you gonna be now? If not a Green Lantern.
That would be Hollywood being racist, essentially.
Yeah, I mean, I think the struggle is real, like they say. Okay, Arrow is season 10 is the final season.
Season 10?
Is it season 10?
I stopped watching.
No, it's yeah. No,
In
wait.
season
What
2.
season is it?
Jesus Christ. Last time I watched it, it was like they were dealing with
Okay, it's eighth
Deathstroke
season.
and
It's
stuff.
the 8th season, but it's only 10 episodes.
Yeah, I stopped watching in season 2.
Yeah.
So.
No, the midpoint of season 3 is like the show was at its best, and then it just got weird after that.
Yeah, he started trying to become mayor and stuff, and they had all that Damien Dark shit going on.
So,
It was
so
weird.
it's going to have only 10 episodes, which I thought was interesting because one of my biggest problems with that show was
There were like
how many
24 episodes,
Yeah,
right?
I cannot commit to 23 hours.
The show doesn't
of
have the
arrows.
material.
Yeah, it has
For
nothing.
Yeah, it's just
43
them
hours.
mulling around. You see Felicity just
It
BSing
was
the camera.
awful. So, yeah. Also, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. has announced that season 7 will likely be its final one.
I'm fine with
Yeah,
I think I'm a season behind there. That's actually not a bad show, but it could end. Like it
they
doesn't.
better
need to
end it
keep
with them
going.
all snapping.
Yeah, why
that.
not?
Would be smart.
Okay, where is my next piece? I can't find. Okay, Brian K. Vaughan. Do you guys know Brian K. Vaughan?
No.
He's a pretty famous comic book and television writer. Like pretty famous. Like if you know comic book writers, you know him. Do you know him, Everett?
No, unfortunately not.
He's had some like he does his own stuff. He also works for the big companies. He's gonna write Gundam,
Oh, I saw this on Reddit. Yeah.
live action adaptation of the iconic Mobile Suit Gundam series from the late
So it's
70s.
gonna be like Pacific Rim, but different.
Co-produced
No,
by Legendary Entertainment and the Japanese animation studio Sunrise, and will be overseen by Cale Boyder, producer of Warner Brothers and Legendary's upcoming Detective Pikachu movie. And then famed comic book and television writer Brian K. Vaughan will be penning the screenplay for Legendary's Gundam movie. Now, I don't know Gundam that well. For reference, Vaughan has under his belt the post-apocalyptic series Y, The Last Man, DC Comics Ex Machina series, and Marvel Comics Runaway amongst some of his most renowned series. The only thing I remember about Gundam is Ready Player One, when they do the Gundam thing.
That's about as accurate as it
All-
could get.
all
It's
I'm
like
saying-
Pacific Rim, except a lot more fast-paced.
Yeah, all I'm saying is like I feel like in a Gundam movie, it's gonna be similar to Pacific Rim. You know, it's gonna be robots. They're gonna move fast, and they're gonna like, be a little smoother, but it's at the end of the day, it's robots.
Yeah.
Yeah, and,
We'll
and
see.
there's a problem with Gundam, if I remember correctly. I'm not really avid at watching or reading it, but I don't think there are monsters in it. Like Pacific
think
Rim,
they
you have
fight each
Jaegers
other,
fighting monsters. Yeah,
don't they?
it's just robots punching each other or hitting
Oh.
each other with swords and stuff.
Whatever. One Punch Man.
Yeah.
Where the hell is this? Looking through all my tabs here. One Punch Man. Season 2 premiere date, Everett. Season 2 would be premiering in Japan in April of 2019. But for Western countries, the series will be premiering on the 9th of April on Hulu.
Nice.
Boom,
Nice.
take that. So that's interesting. Maybe I'll watch the first one since now there's a dubbed version. Okay, now let's talk some Marvel stuff. Black Widow villain. Earlier this week, reports came out that the Black Widow team were eyeing a African female villain to star against Black Widow. And now the rumor has a name. The actress that is currently on Marvel's radar to play the second female lead in the solo Black Widow movie opposite Scarlett Johansson is Emma Watson.
Oh my god. What? No.
What?
Why couldn't they just go with the blonde-haired
Wait,
Black
wait,
Widow? That would have
wait,
worked so
wait,
much
wait.
better.
Wait, what?
The name of the character in question remains a mystery, but previous breakdowns indicate that she's a kick-ass female Bond type. Yeah,
Just like Hermione.
Earlier this week, I read rumors that they're like it's an African woman, and now it's Emma Watson. So
That's
It could be
I mean,
Emma
this is
Watson
just
in
a rumor.
blackface.
This is just a rumor.
yeah, that'd be a career killer. Jesus.
I mean, have you seen her in anything like besides Harry Potter that was really relevant?
She was in Perks of Being
Perks
a
of a
Wallflower.
Wallflower.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that was a long
No,
time
yeah,
ago.
but to be fair, she like went back to school and got her degrees and shit.
Yeah.
So
And she's an activist now or something.
Meanwhile, Rupert Grint bought an ice cream truck.
all white women are, aren't they?
Okay, there, kid.
Okay, so remember when Samuel L. Jackson spoiled Captain Marvel in Endgame by saying that she can time travel?
Yep.
Yeah.
He's said more on the subject. He said, I made stuff up. I said she could time travel one time. It just jacked everybody up.
I
don't
can't
know
tell
what
if
would be
that's him
funnier
like trying to
here.
cover his ass or.
I don't know what would be funnier, him covering his ass or if he actually just made stuff up.
They say that it goes on to explain that it's mainly to like avoid giving actual spoilers. So.
Well, now he can be up there with Tom Holland and Mark Ruffalo.
So that was, I mean, that was one thing, like, that pissed you off, Emerson, I remember.
Oh, it really did piss me off.
So.
I'm praying though.
So.
I'm apprehensive about Captain Marvel.
I'm super hyped. How about you, Everett?
I'm on the fence. I'm excited,
hyped,
but I'm a little
I'm
worrisome
scared.
about it.
I'm scared that it's not going to be good. Like, I want it to be good.
I don't know if it's going to be good, but I'm just kind of excited.
Well, I feel like it's been a while since I've seen a Marvel movie. Like, I don't know why.
Well, it's
wasn't the
been
last one we
since
watched,
Ant-Man
like-
and the Wasp.
Yeah.
Now, I got to be honest, I'm kind of on board with the whole girl power thing. Like, I'm excited to see a female-led film. It's
I
just
agree
kind of
with that.
refreshing.
Listen to me. I agree with it. I think it's refreshing, but I will ridicule this film to no end. And I've been saying this since the first trailer, and I've said it on basically every episode we've talked about it. I swear to God, if she has these 5-minute fucking flashbacks of her entire life on Earth, and then she says, I think I might have had a life here, and it's like a big reveal, then whoever wrote her is an idiot.
So this is a good segue into the Captain Marvel early impressions. I'll be seeing it tomorrow night.
So will I.
So will I.
And we're going to record Sunday night. Is that still the case?
Yes, we are.
Yeah, pretty late.
Well, Everett's out here.
I mean, I could always record it sitting next to Emerson.
Could we?
I have one mic. He'd have
Not
to
to
have his own
mention,
headphones.
well, I'm staying in a hotel. I could have my computer and record there.
Nah, I
Might
guess
not
I
be
could
good
wait till
quality,
Sunday night. Anyway, so I'll have seen it twice by then. But so early impressions. Now, Emerson, a lot of them are saying that there are twists in the film, so it's definitely not going to be her being human.
Okay, then I'm. Happy
I was
with
didn't we make a bet? Like, we made a bet about something?
It was whether Maria Hill was going to be
No,
a scroll.
I was saying,
Oh.
yeah, well, there was this, but no, you also, Kia, you said that what you thought was going to happen is that Captain Marvel, for her, it would be a big thing that she was human, but she was also going to be something else.
I think, she's going to be something else. Okay, so I'm just going to read some of these reviews. The Independent, I hope they're non-spoiler. I haven't read them ahead of time. I think they're going to be non-spoilers. Captain Marvel is enjoyable enough as popcorn entertainment. You can't help but admire the dexterous way the filmmakers fit the movie and its many protagonists within this Marvel Cinematic Universe, or the humor with which they take us back to the 1990s. Larson makes a thoroughly engaging superhero, witty, courageous, and with a sensitivity you don't always find in characters trying to save the world. The film, though, is one-dimensional. It's the 21st entry in a cycle that began with Iron Man in 2008, and signs of rust are now beginning to appear.
Wait,
Dun, dun,
say that
dun.
again?
The last part?
Yeah.
It's the 21st century. It's the 21st entry in a cycle that began with Iron Man in 2008, and signs of rust are now beginning to appear. Now, what I hear when I read that is the whole, like, it's another superhero coming, like, realizing their potential. Like, that, I think, has just
The
been
origin
done
story.
and done and done. Not even, because I know this is a non-traditional origin story. Like, no origin story starts with the hero already being, like, the hero and, like, not having memories and stuff. So
then what is it?
It's non-traditional, but I think it's just the idea of, like, this thing that I've always sort of said, before I saw Avengers and Iron Man 3, my biggest complaint with the Marvel movies, and I did not like them, I liked the first Avenger, but mostly I didn't like them, was that they're too happy, they're too safe, things go too well, and part of that is because they were origin stories. So it was like everyone's coming out party. And so, like, the movies felt a little safe and somewhat predictable, not necessarily in the twist, but in, like, the action. Like, they were never going to lose. Like, they never lose anything, really. Like, Captain America loses Bucky, and it's like, it's not even happening to him. It's,
I guess he loses Peggy too, at least.
that's the
No,
only
she's alive when he comes out of the ice.
Yeah, but that
But
was
when you
like
see
the
the
only
first
one,
movie,
if you think about
I
it.
think that he
Like
lost.
Thor loses the Bifrost, and it's like you can't go back to Earth, but he does.
He loses a bridge.
And like, honestly, the first time you saw Thor, how many of you guys actually understood what the hell the Bifrost was?
I knew what the Bifrost was.
But
I
yeah,
didn't.
but
I
like
was like, what the hell is this?
within the
Like,
context of the film, and then it gets destroyed, and you're like, okay, what does that mean again? Like, I don't.
and also
like,
in the next movie, he's back. So who cares?
yeah, and then like Iron Man
They
2.
don't even need the Bifrost
I like Iron Man
anymore.
2 now because I like those characters now, like Black Widow, War Machine, like we've spent time with them. But like at the time it was just like this is a bloated mess.
So do you think that what they're saying is that this movie's just going to be kind of safe and like?
I think so. I think that's what's getting a bit tired. Is that whole like the superhero's here, she's arrived, everybody. And it's like, yeah, I know, but there's like
So
10 others
how-
that have also arrived.
How do
and-
you think like introducing new characters they should get around that?
Well, here's what I think will save the movie. The fact if you're a fan of the MCU at this point, which I am, then you're gonna like the way that it's like, oh, this is like she ties in here and here and here, and like you're gonna like that, and that will maybe mask the safeness of the origin story itself. The fact that it's just like literally just another superhero in the universe, like that's all we're gonna walk away from this being like, oh, okay, so Captain Marvel exists. Like we're not gonna be like, wow, her struggle. Like it's just gonna be like her coming out party, right? I mean, you guys get that vibe.
Yeah.
So I think the whole like it's in the 90s and like this is what happened before and this is what's gonna happen now, and I'm sure there's gonna be a bunch of like references and Easter eggs and
And
like
the post-credit scene, I'm sure will be.
yeah, which I already know what it is. I can tell you guys at the end.
How?
It leaked. Now I didn't really watch it, but there was a specific thing that I looked for, but I'll tell you at the end.
Okay.
So yeah, like I think that stuff will mask it to where like we'll watch it and be like, I like that part. I like that part where it says that or that, and but then overall it'll be like, okay, the character like was there but not really. Like
It's not gonna blow us away.
yeah. And I think that's what they're saying. So here's another one. So what does a Best Actress Oscar winner bring to a performance as a Marvel superhero? Larson makes Carol/Captain focused, solid, ever alert to what's going on around her, a quick learner, a determined and unafraid warrior. In other words, she's everything you'd want and expect in a soldier, intergalactic or otherwise. But all of this is more or less prescribed by the role, which is, I agree 100%, right? Mm-hmm. What's lacking is humor, a hint that she might get off on the action and violence, or the indication of a deep desire or spark to ferret out evil and right the world's wrongs. The performance is fine, if not exciting or inspiring. I don't even know what they're saying.
They're I don't know. It sounds like they want her to have like some dark. I kind of like the idea that she's a no nonsense soldier.
Yeah. I don't know.
Like,
What do you mean? What is
'cause
lacking in humor? Marvel
I
movies
think what
never
they're-
lack humor.
I think their issues, they're like, oh, he's not zany like some of the, but like if you think about it, I understand Captain America is like the soldier, but he's also got a pretty like high moral compass that like kind of blocks
Yeah, she
some
gets
of
her
his
hands
soldierly duties. I think that like having a hero who is truly a soldier, like a modern soldier, a soldier for a war that Cap could never have dreamt of,
An intergalactic
would be-
soldier.
Yeah, would be a breath of fresh air. Someone who's like, instead of like, oh God, we have to go into this fight, is like, let's fucking kill everybody. Like, let's go. Like, take them down.
So here's another one. Yet Captain Marvel itself has none of that rebellious spirit. It takes very few risks in the way that something like Thor Ragnarok did. Beyond the fact that it that it is the studio's first blockbuster with a female hero in the lead, personally, I like my movies about rule breakers to actually break some rules. 6 out of 10. I kind of agree with that. Like, I mean, I know we haven't seen the movie, but like, yeah, she's gonna play it safe and go down the path set for her. And where's like the risk? Where's the like damage? I don't know. I don't think we'll see it. Amidst all the scenes with intergalactic warships and fireball flinging, co-directors Anna Boden and Ryan Fleck wisely find plenty of room to take the foot off the accelerator and cede center stage to Larson, Jackson, and the rest of the greatly talented cast. It's a real treat to see Carol Danvers find her footing and her wings, so to speak, while at the same time Nick Fury is taking the first steps toward becoming Nick Fury. 3.5 out of 5. It's all about whether or not they can sell this Captain Marvel as someone who later even the mighty Avengers can call to someday to help save the world. In Brie, they have a star who is more than up for the task. You've seen this movie before, but you haven't seen her. They gave it a B. So, yeah. Now, before we move on, I'm going to talk about the gaming section real quick, just because apparently Detective Pikachu has put out some Pokemon trading cards that are like...
And I have something for the gaming section.
Okay, yeah, so the trading cards have the old style like design, but the character pictures are the 3D models from the movie. So they kind of look cool, because they look real. So
That's cool.
that's something if you're into that. Emerson, what do you have for gaming?
Okay, so Anthem, the game we've been loving to talk about, has a glitch that is bricking PS4 consoles, as in destroying them. There are glitches where when you close the game, it will hard restart your PS4 console, causing a chance for it to never turn on, ever,
That's what I'm
and
talking
corrupt
about.
your data. A game is literally killing consoles, and PS4 is now offering free refunds, no questions asked.
For the game or for the
Anthem,
PS4?
For Anthem. So people are hemorrhaging. It's
You'd think that someone
quite
who
funny.
puts that much work, like 6 years of work into a game, would fix something like this before it was released.
It's just funny. It's just hilarious. Like with all the like weird issues that have been happening, like the last thing you think of is bad game kills your console. Imagine you're someone who buys a PS4, you're enjoying it, you're loving it, and then it of all the games that brick your console, Anthem does it.
Well, what's interesting is like just in terms of gaming lately, like anytime you get someone who hasn't played games in a while, that's like my age and is trying to get back into it, you used to be able to just put the disc in and play. Now you have to
anymore.
install and wait and update, and it just takes forever. And then like something like this happens, and it's like, oh, I can't play my game. Like, what's going on? Like that's why people don't play as much.
Yeah, because it's not simple anymore.
Yeah. It's almost like it's not near PC, but it's like kind of what PC was like 20 years ago.
Yeah. PC's gotten simpler now, actually, with Steam.
It's yeah. Okay, so back to Captain Marvel. We're going to talk a little bit of spoilers here. This is the end of the podcast, so you can sign off.
Well, wait, I have one thing, TV news.
Okay.
So Alex Trebek, host of Jeopardy, stage
cancer.
4 cancer.
Yeah.
So it has a 1% survival rate. So
Okay, so I'm not going to spoil this outright, but and I don't know the movie spoilers. I only know the end credit thing. But so the comic book movie.com has a good article on everything Kevin Feige has revealed about the MCU's future during Captain Marvel's press tour. So before I talk about the last thing, I thought we'd maybe go through this. Number one, we're going to wait a long time for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
I'm okay with that.
So, yeah. He says, I mean, when it was pushed back, meaning the release date, because it's not coming out, although we've never announced the release date actually, but it was going to happen sooner rather than later initially, of course. Outside of knowing that we're going to use James Gunn's draft, we have been focusing on other projects. So that's that. Another one, The Eternals will be a truly epic Marvel movie. Jack Kirby did an immense, amazing epic with Eternals that spans tens of thousands of years, and that's also something we haven't really done, which is why that among many other things post-Endgame we find appealing. Honestly, if the MCU is going to have a failure, I think it might be that.
Yeah.
I could be wrong, but I think like they're getting a little ahead of themselves. If this is going to be long-form storytelling in a movie, I wonder if like the character will be lost in that.
Also, like, we're getting to the point where all the characters people are familiar with, like, they're either going to have to go away or change, and now they're introducing, like, this crazy new group that's, like, according to what I know about them, really off the wall compared to most of these people. Mm-hmm. People might be like, what is this?
Now, I'm going to say again, they gave us Guardians not because they wanted to do something weird, but because they wanted to bring in Thanos. Okay. And I'm thinking the Eternals show up in Endgame.
I hope not.
Well, like some theories are, and not like real theories, but like in the comic lore, when Thanos snaps, he earns the attention of like the what do they
Higher
call
beings or something.
what are the
Eternal?
gods?
No,
They're not Eternals. What is ego?
It's like eternity in
Celestials.
space.
Yes, the Celestials. So I don't know. Like maybe this will be the Eternals instead. All right. Why Captain Marvel isn't wearing a skimpy costume? He says, if you look at the comics, the further you go back, the less clothes Carol Danvers seems to be wearing. Oftentimes, it's one-piece bathing suit, basically, with an outrageous comic proportions. Bree pointed it out on the wall, and we went, yeah, just so you know, that's not what we're doing. She goes, okay, I didn't think so, but I'm glad you said that. Marvel's Disney Plus TV shows will be set firmly in the MCU. They will be entirely interwoven with both the current MCU, the past MCU, and the future MCU. Characters will undergo transformations in their series, and those transformations will be reflected in their next film appearances because we've been developing long-form narrative stories for Disney Plus at the exact same time we've been developing a post-Avengers Endgame MCU. Why Marvel Studios held off on revealing Avengers 4 title? It was a spoiler because if you knew before Infinity War came out that the next movie was called Endgame, then you knew there wasn't an ending to Infinity War. But that had been the title of the movie from the moment we conceived of doing two films, in large part because it's seated right there. I mean, it's seated in Ultron. The Captain Marvel sequel could go to some amazing places. The making of a first film is in some ways a brainstorm on the future on what can be, which is kind of what we were just talking about. So what it will be again is not clear, but what it could be is pretty amazing. Will we see Miss Marvel in the sequel? No, I think she's a contemporary story. I don't think she was a little kid in 1990. I'm not sure she was born in 1995. This is the first step towards introducing her hero, is how you begin to bring her about at some point. I don't care for Miss Marvel that much, so that's Kamala Khan.
Miss Marvel is.
Isn't she like a Middle Eastern Indian or something?
something like that.
Black Widow was never going to be R-rated. He wants you to stop worrying about run times. I think running times get way too much attention pre-release of films. We're going to release the movie at the exact right running time. I'm telling you this, it's going to be perfect. It's going to be the exact running time that movie needs to be. Every version of Endgame thus far and the ones that we're honing in on feel very good. The potential of the quantum realm, I think it's really important. I think it's one of the fun things about the comics that allow you to explore entirely new terrains, and we've hinted at it now in numerous films, and it's untapped, primarily untapped potential. Marvel Studios could go back to releasing just 2 movies a year. There are no mandates to make any more than 2 films a year. As we've seen in the last couple of years, when it naturally happens, and when there are ideas, and when there are teams ready to go, we're not going to hold something back. We'll make it. I hope that doesn't happen. I like 3 movies a year.
Yeah.
Stan Lee will have an Avengers Endgame cameo. Tickets aren't on sale for that yet, right?
I don't think so.
The minute they go on sale, we all have to be on that.
Yeah, we need to jump on that.
I'm buying
shit.
it for like every day of that weekend.
Oh yeah, I'm on top of that. At least 3 or 4 showings.
I think, as with some of the other characters you mentioned, there are no characters. Certainly no Marvel characters that are invulnerable and that are immortal. They can all be killed at some point, as Loki says to Thor in Avengers 1. So we may see that at some point, introduce that at some point. This is about people dying. Like, at some point. How Avengers Infinity War Dust said characters were chosen. Seeing T'Challa go right after his first appearance, seeing Spider-Man go in Peter Parker after that relationship had been established between he and Tony Stark, and it was also designed to leave the original Avengers because Endgame very much follows their story. The end of Infinity War was traumatizing for us. It was traumatizing as we made it, as we shot, as we cut it together, as the visual effects started coming in. And when we started to screen it, it was pretty amazing to see people sit there in shock that it had actually ended that way. Dude, I don't know. We talked about this. I was not in shock. I was pissed.
You know what? You're not the average person. We are not the average person, okay? The average person is like, oh my god, they killed everybody. And you even said you were scared at first. You were scared at first. When they killed just Bucky and Black Panther, you were like, no, I like them. But then when they killed everyone, you realized they were coming back.
Which one of us had the story where when they killed Black Panther, someone jumped up in the theater and screamed no? Someone had something like that.
I think that was Jade.
Was it?
I think Jade screamed no. I don't know. I remember she was pissed. Dude, she still hates that movie.
Really?
She still hates it. She'll like if she sees Thanos, she's like, "Fuck that!" Like she doesn't even want to look at Thanos.
I support that.
Is she going with you to Endgame?
Yeah. So he said that they're not going to unveil the Phase 4 slate until after Spider-Man Far From Home. So, bye-bye. Now, Captain Marvel is currently an 84% on Rotten Tomatoes. To put that in perspective, How to Train Your Dragon had 92. Alita Battle Angel had 60. Let's see what Infinity War had.
Reminds me of that picture of it's like Infinity War at like 70 something, and it had Teen Titans Go at like 80 something, and it's the thing from the prequels where it says, "I don't think the system works."
That was an 85. So
Yeah.
yeah. So okay. Anyway, now let's talk about these post-credit sequences.
Okay.
There's two.
Okay.
The second one is a joke one at the end of the credits. And then the mid-credit one is related to Endgame. And it's basically like Captain Marvel showing up.
Showing up where?
I don't want to tell you, but the reason I looked that up is because she has a new suit. And so when I saw that suit, I canceled my pre-order for the solo movie version action figure. Because I like her new suit better. So
Interesting.
yeah, but yeah, we're gonna see how she joins up. So yeah.
Okay.
All right, until Sunday, boys.
All right.
We will be in a feminist United States once this
Nice.
film lands. No, I'm excited.
All right. I guess we'll see.
Yeah. All right. I'll see you guys later.
All right, see ya.
Thank you for listening to the Iron Coop Fights Movies. If you enjoyed the show, please be sure to like, share, subscribe, and most importantly, review our podcast on iTunes so that we can spread the show around. To contact the show, you can reach us at theironcube@gmail.com and on Instagram at theironcube. Join us for another edition of the Iron Coop Fights Movies.